With a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah. Now this the black sheep, sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been a threat.
Yes, sir. We back in the building.
We are.
Super Bowl Monday should be a national holiday, but as they say, you can't have it all. But you could have what you can have, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why anybody would want to take the day off after the Super Bowl because, like, it's the one day, like, at work where you have something to talk about that everybody saw. So, like, for the gossipy people, you know, like the sports people, like, I wanted to see everybody. I wanted to let everybody know my takes, what I had as an appetizer, what bets I hit, what bets I didn't hit. So I never understood that. I guess that's for the people that got, like, hammered. But, I mean, why, you know.
First Super Bowl, I didn't drink.
Were you 12?
No, I had to come into the studio after to go. I actually watched the fourth quarter and overtime.
Oh, I thought you said your first Super Bowl.
No, what do you mean?
What?
Like the first Super Bowl you ever went to.
What?
How confused are you?
Yeah.
I thought you said first.
No, this is
He
the
said
first.
this is the first
This is
Super
the
Bowl.
first Super Bowl. I didn't drink. Like, I didn't have a drink. The
Gotcha.
people I was with,
missed it.
they're not big drinkers, and I'm a kind of guy that I could adapt to my environment and,
You can
and
go
like my
either
crowd.
way.
Yeah.
You
So
can-
if I'm with people that everybody's gonna be hammered and drinking, I could do that. But if it's with people that are usually sober or they don't like to drink, I'm not gonna force it on them.
True.
So the people I was with, they don't like drinking. So I kind of was just like macking and chilling. And also I had to come here after, but I watched the fourth quarter and overtime here at the studio. By the way, George to my right, Josh in the building as well. Wanted to make sure I had both of them on for this one. Pretty big episode. Shout out to you guys for last week, the contributions to the show last week. It was great to have you guys on. The numbers went through the roof last week. Show's continuing to grow. And 4 episodes. Shout out to you with Bill Krakenberger. Kind of you're doing, you and John Orlando. So I appreciate that.
Of course.
He brought in Warren Sharp. Josh was in for that one. That was really cool and really insightful. And then we had Stephen A. We had Impy come back on the show. I used to do the show with Impy way back in the day. And then us two were kind of shooting the shit about what the vibes were like in Vegas for the Super Bowl. So there's a lot to discuss. I want to approach this one a little bit different. Kind of want to go quarter by quarter, talk about the game, talk about the amount of swings in the game too. Because Josh, him and we went in on a CMC bet.
Okay, all right.
So the first touchdown is Christian McCaffrey, and it's not thrown by Brock Purdy. And I immediately text George and I go, this is great for us because McCaffrey scores a touchdown and it's not Brock that throws it to him. So for our bet, I'm like, bro, this is like the best start for us. And then he writes,
I said, unless Jawan Jennings catches a touchdown, in which he would have thrown a touchdown and caught a touchdown, which only 2 players in Super Bowl history have done. And
Who was the other?
Nick Foles.
Antoine Randall.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles.
Oh, I'm tripping. Yeah,
I think
you're right.
no.
Antoine Randall was the last person not a quarterback to throw it.
Yeah, and I don't think he caught one in that same game.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He just threw it.
In my world, I had said that there could be a possibility where CMC throws, catches, and rushes for one, and that's never been done before in a Super Bowl. But you can't have it all. But anyways, we're going quarter by quarter. So the CMC touchdown, right?
Yes.
The screen, the double screen, the gadget play. It's something that I wish I would have seen more of from the 49ers through the rest of the game, right?
What's crazy is we said quarter by quarter, and that's the second quarter that happened.
The first quarter was relatively boring, dude. It was
Turnovers.
Yeah. Two CMC or a CMC fumble, and then you had an Isaiah Pacheco.
See, I was literally talking to Isaiah, one of the producers earlier. I honestly find those kind of games super exciting because we don't see that level of defense anymore, where it's like both teams are fighting for every inch. We're not moving anything. You can try all the tricks and the smoke and mirrors and look over here and we're doing something else and they're not going for it. I actually find those kind of games more exciting than when it's constant scoring, because it's like, in the end, neither of these defenses are doing anything to stop the other side. But on the other side of that, it's like, can they keep holding on? You know what I mean? Like, can we keep this going? So, I mean, that first quarter, yeah, it was 2 fumbles, especially both of them were in big areas.
I think the
Scoring
Pacheco
areas.
was second quarter, yeah?
I think so. I think that was the beginning of the second.
Because, like, the more I think about that first quarter, it was just, it was a prime example of it doesn't matter if you've been there before or not. The Super Bowl is such a big stage that everybody's nerves were on 1,000. Like, when does CMC fumble in a key position like that? And then when does, I don't even know who got the strip on that. It was it's like a third string D lineman that had the strip, but that just goes to show those players are playing the hardest they've played all season. He hit Christian McCaffrey with the meanest punch.
I got it right here. It was Chanel and Pinnell. I remember they were rhyming about it.
And Pinnell.
Yeah, and it was recovered by my boy,
Dude,
Laftis.
the Greek.
Dude, I got so many Josh, I don't know if you heard it last week, but I was talking on the show about how my dad calls me, and I'm Greek, right? And my dad calls me, and he goes, yo, how much is Karlaftis to win MVP? And I go, why? He's like, we have to bet him. I was like, we didn't bet him last year. He's like, yeah, but he was a rookie, dude. So we had 125 to 1 on Karlaftis, and he recovers the fumble. My dad calls me. He goes, yo, I'm like, there's a lot of time left, but yeah, it's good that
he's going to put one in the end zone.
Yeah, it's good that he recovered it. I think, so how the game starts, I think what was really interesting, and I was making note of this as I was watching too, Brock Purdy didn't seem like the moment was too big for him. And even early on, like I bet him, one of the props I bet was first pass to be incomplete. He actually completed the first pass to Kyle Juszczyk. Shout out to Jared Smith, who we did the preview show with. He bet him to have the first reception of the game, 24 to 1. Yeah. Put $100 on it, won $2,500.
Yep.
Who saw that, though? Who saw that?
Yo, so you know what's crazy? Of the how many games did they play? 20? They played 20 games, right?
Yeah,
17?
yeah, because they played the divisional conference and then this one, so 17.
Right. 17, and then, yeah. So this would have been their 19th game.
No, this was the 20th game.
No, they played 17.
They played 17, and then the divisional round.
You're right. Divisional
the
18, conference,
and
yeah.
then now Super.
Okay, so of the 19 games, I think Kyle Juszczyk was targeted like 6 times on the first.
Okay.
And it was the highest of any player.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And a lot of it is because Brock Purdy, you want to get him comfortable. So nice little check down for 15 yards, you know?
Yeah.
Get it
For
going
sure.
forward, not backwards. And yeah, shouts to Jared, man. He hit that. Action Network was blasting it. BR Betting was blasting it. And I was like, bro, because I saw him Thursday night. We went and grabbed drinks with the SGPN guys. And he was like, yo, do you know what my favorite bet is? I was like, what? And he told me it. And I laughed. I was like, that's crazy. And then he laid it out like how you responded is how I responded.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why I remember the numbers that he was mentioning. I was like, who the fuck bets that, bro? Like, why would you pick him? He's like, dude, he got the most first targets. I was like, okay. So
Yeah. And it was a layup. Of
Yeah,
I mean, it was like you explained. It was a little flat route. I think though, it's going towards Brock Purdy feeling comfortable and feeling confident. I think there was so much energy expended in the first quarter, like where he was performing at such a high level. I mean, dude, his face when the national anthem was going, did you see the close up of him? Like he looked the most nervous I've ever seen Brock Purdy ever before.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the national anthem happens and then kickoff was a full 15 minutes from the national anthem with commercials and everything. So you can just like sense that, all right, I'm comfortable, but I think he kind of in a way like blew his load too early, or it was the first part of Spag's plan that I think we'll see unfold when we start talking about quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, where it's like Spags wants to make you feel like you have this, but he's really just dialing in exactly what the 49ers were laying out for him. And yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world to make a quarterback feel comfortable like that when you bring a lot of pressures later on in the game.
Well, I mean, I'll say this, and I said this earlier on our show. I feel like the script for the first 20 plays, the first 2 quarters, everyone always talks about the play script. The script that Kyle Shanahan drew up for those first 20 plays was spectacular. I mean, it wasn't, I don't feel it was so much, what the Chiefs were allowing them to do as much as the offensive line and the defensive line on the 49ers side was dominating both sides of the ball. Like we talked about it earlier. Every run to the left was getting them gash plays over and over again. Then you have, misdirection and you're going back looking at Debo, you're looking at Ayuk. To me, it was more really just that Brock Purdy was dialed in. I feel like he was dialed in that whole first half. Between him and Patrick Mahomes, I think there was only like 5 incompletions in the first half total between the two of them. They both had the same amount of yards, 123.
Yeah, and to start the game, they got him in rhythm, dude. And it was the McCaffrey show up until that fumble. Like McCaffrey touched the ball on every single play in that first drive, and I was feeling good about it. I mean, him and Kyle Juszczyk. I was feeling good about it because we had a video prepped up too because of the dude that was outside the studio that time that we were talking about McCaffrey for NFL MVP, and he was wearing the jersey. And then as we were recording the show on Friday, I was like, yo, do you think the omen was Super Bowl MVP since he didn't win the regular season MVP? So we had that video queued up.
Yeah.
And it was ready to go. But
glad
they
I didn't
featured him.
continue working on it.
Yeah. they featured him, man. And look, he gets that fumble, and it's unfortunate because it's inside the red zone. I personally feel like your turnovers should never be inside your red zone. Like that's the thing with me and it was like borderline. It got recovered at the 25, but for the most part, I think they call that the green zone.
Yeah, we're in position to score points.
Yeah, at least a field goal,
especially after dominating that first drive.
Right, and you were able to do whatever you want. But I like what you said about Spags. Spags now has 4 defensive coordinator Super Bowl championships.
Yes, because he missed 11. He wasn't with you guys. He was the Rams.
Perry Fuel was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. Yeah, shouts to him. So he won it with the Giants, and then he became a head coach, and it didn't work out because also I think he went to the Rams.
The Rams, yeah.
Yeah, and I was horrible there. A really young Sam Bradford, I think that was his quarterback.
Really, just not a very good Sam Bradford in general. But
we'll
move along.
Yeah,
he stole a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, he was the last of the $50 million guarantee guy.
Yeah, he was the last. He was the last quarterback before the rookie wage scale.
Right.
Exactly. So he came in busting heads loose, and then it was like, well, this is where my money is, and he rode that out to the end. I think he made like $150 million, George.
Yeah, no, he balled out.
Oof.
Yeah, that was wild. So Spags, to your point, I think he does do that, man. And if you look at the numbers, I think they gave up only 10 points in fourth quarters and overtime.
Yes.
Yeah.
The entire playoffs.
Yes. I think they had said something about that where it was like they haven't given up almost any points. And they had to play. They had to play 4 games.
Mm-hmm. But they had played like that for a good deal of the season too. Mm-hmm. Like even when I saw them play the Raiders out here and the Raiders jump out to a 14-0 lead, like their ability to then hold teams, like they held the Raiders to 3 more points after that. And then they beat them by 14. Like it's crazy. So that defense, I think, will go down in history eventually when people like study how dialed in everyone is. Like I really have not seen a defense. The defense that kind of reminded me of this was the 49ers of last year, where they had DeMeco Ryans, and it just felt like they were so in sync with each other. This defense, though, I think does it and some.
For Kansas City, you're talking about?
For Kansas City,
well, I think the one issue that they run into also is that they don't have Chris Jones is a star.
Yeah.
And he's very animated too, and he's a great interview. Mm-hmm. He always has some clippable shit in a post game or a pre-game, but they don't got no like superstar on the defense.
Mhm.
And I think that's what holds them back from people understanding just how good their defense was.
He's it.
Right.
He would be the only one that is a more household name.
Right, for sure. And for you to have a defense that gets a title, and what I mean by title is Legion of Boom,
A name, yeah.
the 2000 Ravens, the Steel
Yeah.
Curtain. It's like you need to have some personalities on there.
Bro.
And there isn't. Like everyone's like pretty low key. They're about their business.
Yeah, they play for each other. Nobody's standing out and making it about themselves. Like even Chris Jones. Chris Jones been an all-pro. You don't really see him, he doesn't do a whole lot to separate himself from that unit. You know what I mean? Like, and outside of Karlaftis, who's the other defensive end? You know what? It's the hyphenate. I actually have him on my Madden league.
The hyphenate.
Felix. I call him the hyphenated African.
But in the secondary, they're really good. Snead, Edwards, Reed, McDuffie. Like the secondary is very good. But again, it's not a knock to them. Like the whole unit is very good. And you're right. I think later down the road, people will appreciate just how good this defense was. I mean, and that was the play for me, bro. Like I was on the Chiefs. Yeah, you have Mahomes and you have Kelsey and Andy Reid. And I go back to the episode I did with Allen, and I regret it so much, dude. I regret it, George, because I talked about how, man, Kansas City 10-1 is jumping out to me. Like it just looks like just looked very appealing. It's the highest number that you could have got them all year. And the breakdown was why they can't win the Super Bowl. Why they could was because they had Reed, Mahomes, and Kelsey. Why they couldn't is I was worried about the wide receivers. And the wide receivers didn't really have any crazy back-breaking drops like they did in the regular season. There wasn't the 3rd and 8, first down, wide open, Kadarius Toney, then it gets picked 6 the other way against Detroit.
Yep.
It's not MVS in the end zone on Monday Night Football. They didn't have those kind of drops. Justin Watson dropped a deep one after he made like a hell of a play. The next down, they go to him, and he drops one early in the first half. A little bit behind, too, but as a stud Sunday rec league quarterback, if you get two hands on
the ball,
that's
on you, baby.
And also Mahomes moves out the pocket there and has to deliver it with the guy's hand being in the way. So, yeah, man, not everything's going to be perfect, but I think it was a reasonable. It hit him in the back of the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he reached all the way back.
That's right. Yeah,
tried to do one of those. I'll cut you some slack.
Exactly.
So that's why people were knocking the Chiefs because of what we saw the whole regular season. But they're a team now, and it was the case with Kelsey about how I felt they were saving him for the playoffs. And bro, he went over his yards and catches in every single game. Every single game. He didn't score in every single game, and a lot of the sports books benefited from that because, I mean, bro, he was tied to every single parlay him to score a touchdown.
He killed all of my tickets.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Every last one.
Yeah. The props were pretty rough. I think I hit 2 of 30 props.
I mean, outside of Pacheco and Kelsey scoring touchdowns, I hit everything else that I said.
Oh, mine were rough.
But I put them all together.
Tough. Yeah, those same game parlays.
They were together.
So here's the thing. I broke even on the Super Bowl, but if I would have just left my Chiefs money line bet that I made Sunday night 2 weeks ago, when they gave the line open, I took the money line.
Yeah.
In my head, it was Brock Purdy versus Mahomes. I'm gonna take that
every
all
day of the week. Yeah.
And shout out to Brock Purdy. I thought he played really well yesterday.
He didn't lose them the game.
No,
I'll say that.
I don't think so either. And when I was watching, all the bets just fucking evaporate. It was because I was all in on Kittle. I was all in on Pacheco to score a touchdown. I was all in on Debo. Debo got banged up. Jawan Jennings not to get a touchdown. I was on that. I took unders on Pat Mahomes. He went over.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like
all overs get screwed once overtime happened. Like,
that's
it was like,
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, once it went to overtime, and look, really important. I don't know if you guys caught this, but the total for this game was 47 all last week. Game day 46.5. And a lot of money was going to the under. People were hammering the under. If you bet it Sunday morning, you got fucked. Because it landed on 47.
So crazy.
Because people rarely think, though, that you're going to see it go down
Yeah.
because you just expect Super Bowl over is
Over,
going to be
overs.
all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. And
Sharp money must have like hammered.
yeah. And
on-
also
on
we
Sunday
spoke
morning.
we spoke about it with Bill when Bill was on the show, and he kind of validated what I've been saying for years also about betting the props over. Bet them early. Now look, Kelsey went over regardless, but Kelsey 2 weeks ago when they put him up, he was 69.5. He closed at 75. That's a big movement. And in the first half, Kelsey has one catch.
One catch.
And then in the second half, he one catch for 1 yard. In the second half, he goes 8 for 92. And kind of, I think the knock, my issue with San Fran is how do you not go into that game saying, yo, he's not going to beat us?
Well, I think easily Dre Greenlaw going down.
Word. How crazy was that?
Greenlaw
bro?
tearing his Achilles.
How crazy was that?
Changes
shit,
everything because now we only have one side of the field versus if we had two sides of the field, both linebackers in, you can still do things and you can blend coverages. But when you take another All-Pro out and you're like, all right, Fred Warner, it's just you.
Oh yeah.
Fred Warner is a lot of things, but fast he is not. He is very instinctful.
Yeah, and he's also not a dog. Like Dre Greenlaw gets in people's faces and like lets them know. I think Fred Warner's a little more reserved when it comes to like the extracurriculars. Like he's more like the leader.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw, and I hate to say this because I'm not sure if I think this is a bad take or not, but very similar to like blowing your load early in the Super Bowl. If you watch his very first tackle of the game, which was like an assist tackle, where he goes in and just cleans somebody up, right? Bro, he was so excited. Like he was jumping around. He was like going super cyan mode. And you're just like, easy, bro.
A tackle for two yards.
It was you assisted in a tackle. And I know it's such a big moment, but when you look at, it's a very long game. It finished off at like 5 hours. Yeah. So it's like, you're doing all this right now. And then, you can't help but to notice, like, as he's going on to the field, watch Fred Warner take the field like calm and composed, and Dre Greenlaw's like amping himself up. And I mean, it's unfortunate to see, but you can kind of see when people get injured, a lot of the times it's because they're out of their own mind. You know what I mean? Like whenever somebody's gotten seriously injured, they're like,
self-inflicted.
I lost myself for a second. And as soon as you lose yourself and your body can't communicate.
Was that Martin Grammatica that tore his ACL celebrating?
Grammatica. Remember when the discount double check was a thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A linebacker on the Lions sacked Aaron Rodgers, and he did the discount double check, blew out his knee.
Yeah.
Bro, how many dudes have hit home runs, and when they're the walk-off home run lands on home plate, blows out his knee? It's a lot of crazy shit that happens. And then McCaffrey in the first half gets tackled, does a fucking split.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my God, he's out for the year.
Yeah.
And then he just hands the ball in.
He hopped up. The way he hopped up and trotted back I was like, bro, that's not normal.
That's crazy.
My man got bent back like a paperclip. That was not
wild.
supposed to
And
just
then
be
Kyle
okay.
Shanahan said, all right, we're running stretch to the left. Like he
Right
just
after
no hezzy. He's like, the ball's going right back to him, man. It's the last thing they'll expect.
It's wild that, and I want to hear your guys' take here. Do you think, because the game plan to beat the Chiefs was for you to run the ball on them. Like Buffalo ran the ball on them, right? And Baltimore 2 weeks ago, I think their running backs had 6 combined carries.
Carries, yes.
What do you think it's the moment being too big? Do you think it's looking across the field and seeing number 15 that makes them alter their game plans? Because, bro, McCaffrey was just 6 yards, 6 yards, 6 yards. Like the whole time, that's all he was doing.
When it was going to the left and then sometimes to the middle, he was doing well. When it came to the right, it was shut off. And then when it came to Chris Jones's side, typically it was shut off. I think that, look, in a lot of times, coaches, especially offensive-minded coaches, will have notes that just say, run the ball, stupid. Like, just the nature of today's game takes you away from running the ball so much. This is now a pass-happy league, and so it sucks because it's much more gratifying to see this 15, 20-yard pass play happen versus the 3 and 4 yard run. But when you can just keep grinding somebody, it is what it is.
I think when you go back and you watch the footage, Spagnuolo made them throw the ball. Like he said, like, no, we're going to run one high safety. We're going to be blatantly clear to you here. We want you to throw the football. And I think after a certain amount of time of seeing what the defense is giving you, you kind of just fall into it. And it's a risky game. Like everything that the Chiefs did yesterday defensively, as far as saying, hey, we're going to make it seem like you're going to get a one-on-one situation here, but really we're sending 5 people and we're running a zone coverage instead.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go back and you watch it, you're like, what else are the 49ers supposed to do? They're literally, every tell in the world tells you to throw the football here. And they did that. And they, unfortunately,
to their own peril.
Unfortunately, they just couldn't capitalize on big moments. To kind of go back to Brock Purdy in a sense, where you said he was really composed. When Brock Purdy had his incomplete passes, where did they all end up? Right at the feet. Like
one hopper.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
why was that happening, George?
I just think that is what Brock Purdy is.
No, I think
there is pressure in the pocket that manipulates it, but every time I've seen Brock Purdy like miss back, he's not overthrowing people.
No.
That's
true.
Like, I don't know. It's just like one of the characteristics I see in his game that, like, I've seen a lot of in-breaking routes that end up at Deebo Samuel's feet every time I watch the Niners.
No.
Like,
Well, I wonder how much of that we would have to go back to watch, because I rewatched the game this morning, and there's a pretty cool like Game Pass thing NFL has. You could breeze through commercials and all that, and kind of condenses only like the important plays.
Yep.
And a lot of it was also credit to the defensive line, getting him out of rhythm, not having his feet set. Like he had a lot of those, like, and then he would have to,
into
you know,
Yeah.
and it was altering his stepping up in the pocket. But you're right, there are a lot of those like that.
Did you
too.
see, when you're watching it back, were you seeing a lot of off-play action stretch routes where he's kind of like going naked bootleg type situation? Where
Oh yeah,
he's like
and there was a bunch of them where the DN would just get as deep as he would, and he would cut him off, and then he's like doing the shimmy, trying to cross him over to buy time. Like at some point, they've picked up on your tendencies when you do that so many times.
Yeah.
Like, bro, look, I always talk about this story, and it's funny because I'm sure you guys have watched football with people, and you'll call a play. It'll happen. You'll be like, yo, they're going to hand it off to the left. Or like, yo, A.J. Brown, one-on-one, it's going there. And then it happens, and you're like, oh, shit, that was dope, right? I watched a game with Will Blackman here at the Win. We were up in his hotel, and we were like eating and shit, and it was a regular season game. Bro, he called 4 straight plays in a row, like correctly. Eating buffalo wings, handoff left, play action, roll out right. The first one, I'm like, I've done that. Like, it ain't. Second one, I'm like, third one. Like, bro, in a row. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, how? He's like, yo, you pick up on like teams' tendencies. And eventually, when a team does that play action so many times, it's like, yeah, I'm going to be there to disrupt the whole flow of the play.
Can you do that with your team? Because I swear to God, like,
with the Giants, yeah.
With anything Commanders, after about the 4th game, I can be like, this play is coming.
Oh, dude, the New York Giants, no team loves to run 3rd and 12 inside draw plays more than the Giants.
Oh, that sucks. That's
right?
like
or my favorite,
2000s Raiders.
The Eli special was 3rd and 12, swing pass to the running back behind the line of scrimmage, tackled for a 2-yard gain. Well, yeah, with my team, I have an idea of like what they're doing.
Because we've seen it. So like, I mean, obviously, I feel like, 2 things. One, that's a pro athlete that played the position and also played the defensive side, so he can see different tendencies from an offensive standpoint. But I think the one thing that when you do have your own team and you watch them week in, week out, I can tell you the formation and be like, we ain't throwing here. Even though they got a light box and we should throw.
Yeah.
We're not throwing.
Oh, yeah, you could tell by the formation when they have the 3 tight ends on the field and there's no wide receiver out there. You're like, they're probably going to run the ball.
No, I'm talking trips left, and they got a single high safety, and I'm like, hey, bro, like we probably should maybe run a post somewhere in here, and somebody's going to have some space. No, we're going to run to the right.
And isn't that, when you guys are talking about it, the beauty?
I'm thinking about so many times that happens.
The beauty of the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
Because my God, does everything look identical to one another? It looks like they stayed in the same formation, even when it would get down to 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, a 2 tight end set from shotgun, 2 receivers out wide. Figure it out. Like, we're gonna stay in this all game. You know, we're not gonna run no tush push, and it really helps with getting a defense comfortable. And I think I don't know if we want to hop back into the order, but like.
No, we went all over the place, but I do want to say I think the second quarter was very telling. Because in the second quarter you had the Jawan Jennings play, and then you had Mecole Hardman get open deep down the field. That was the biggest play of the game from like a yardage standpoint.
Yep.
And what's really interesting about Super Bowls, and I've seen it with my team twice, there's always a random ass guy that pops off. And pops off for their standards might be 3 catches. But Mecole Hardman's catch total was half a catch. He had 3 of them, and he surpassed his yardage, and he scored the game-winning touchdown, which we'll get to. What I'm saying is there's always that unsung hero in the Super Bowls. And what was crazy as the game was playing out, bro, it was Hardman for the Chiefs, because at the time that he made that catch, then Pacheco goes and fumbles, right? But before that, it was like you have Jawan Jennings throws the trick play. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yo, you always have these random dudes. Antoine Randall L. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that before we started recording, or it might have been when we were recording. Yeah. You have those Mario Manningham, bro. Like, he was dope, but it was a Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz game. Bill Belichick famously said, it's still a Nicks and Cruz game. Make him go somewhere else. And then Eli throws that fucking perfect pass down the sideline in Indy. Yeah. So it's always like a random ass dude that you don't expect, because if you think about the recent memories you've had of Super Bowls, the studs show up. Kelsey every Super Bowl shows up. The quarterbacks show up. Jalen Hurts last year, right? T. Higgins a couple of years ago. Yep. Cooper Kupp showed up. Like, the guys that are supposed to show up. But you need the random guy that you don't expect much from to pop off. And salute to those 2 guys, because they played a career game for their standards.
Yeah. And so you could say the same thing about every single Chiefs defensive player. Like, they're all unsung heroes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what do you said? Chanel? What's the?
And Pinol.
Yeah.
Pinol. I'm probably butchering their names.
Chanel is the he was a rookie last year, 2nd-year player. Pinnell he's a D tackle. Justin Reed always was a problem at safety, super fast.
I mean, they all played amazing. Like, they were swarming to the ball. It was definitely a textbook seeing a whole bunch, 11 hats to the ball every time. But yeah, no, to your point, it was there a possibility for anybody else on, like, did you think for a second there Christian Watson? Once he caught like a deep corner route one time, I think it was in the second quarter, where, you know, he gets like 35 yards. And
Justin Watson?
Yeah.
Well, but then the next play he dropped the ball, so I was like, it's not gonna be him.
Yeah, but you get that hope for a second. You're like, is that him? No.
Well, I mean, the other tight ends accounted for 5 catches and 76 yards. Justin Watson and Noah Gray.
Yeah.
We had the Noah Gray over
25.
Yeah. Oh no, he got 22. No, we had catches, didn't we?
No. I had him
it was the yardage. Okay, I had
Yeah.
another parlay where we had his catches, but he almost got there.
I'm just sad that I lost all my parlays. It is what it is.
Well, a lot of people did. I lost all of mine too, and yo, every year I hope to leave the football season with more information than I had the year before, and I had a pretty big bet on the Chiefs for my standards, but I think I profited like $20 on the Super Bowl because I went crazy with the props. I had like 10 same game parlays, and then I had about 30 props that I bet individually.
Yeah.
And I think 2 hit. The game landed on 3, which was one of my favorites, plus 650. So I bet that
landed on 3?
Meaning the game to be decided by 3 points.
So
I bet that plus 650. Gave that out on the Patreon. Talked about it on the Propifestation pod last week. And then I think everything else, I think I'm pretty sure I missed on almost all of them.
Yeah. No, I was really bad on the props. I didn't see anybody on like Bleacher Report or anything that had like Jawan Jennings and who's Jawan Jennings, and then to get McCole Hardman to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
Like
I
that
also
same game
hit-
parlay would be crazy.
I also gave out the game going into overtime at 15-1, but that was more so. I'm not too prideful in that, Josh, because it was more of a hedge on a couple other bets I had.
You just take that one.
Yeah.
That's just one you take.
Yeah, so those are the ones I hit, but still, like, I lost a ton of money on the props, bro. That's the thing. It's there's props on props on props for this game. Like, it's crazy. And, you know, one of the props that I was hoping to get was Pacheco. And we haven't even addressed the elephant in the room, was the incident between Travis Kelce and Andy Reid.
Oh.
So the fumble, they hit the big play to Mecole Hardman.
Yep.
And the very next play, they're inside the red zone, Pacheco fumbles. The issue Kelce had was he wasn't on the field for that play.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the incident?
In terms of him bumping Reed, I mean, listen, you know, this is kind of one of my things where, as being the only black person here in this room, where people start the whole, oh, if he was black, and it's like, come on, bro. First off, and then Austin earlier was saying, some women were saying, oh, be careful for Taylor Swift, like he's an abuser now.
Oh yeah, I saw those going
like, and
around
it's
too.
like, come on, okay. So first, attacking the big question is, big fella got some bad knees, man. Like, my man took a little bump and them knees both buckled, and it's like,
well, here's the
you
thing.
gotta know you gotta know who you're running up on. Like,
Yeah, but bro,
he could have been in a wheelchair the rest of the game, and it would have been different.
Nah, but hold on. I'm gonna push back because I heard that take too. If you're talking to George and I walk into you not knowing I'm coming, and I chest bump you, your knees might buckle also, bro.
Yeah.
It might throw you, because that was a pretty aggressive bump. I know we saw it in slow motion 150,000 times, but it's the same thing when, like, you have a lot of friends that are fighters.
Yeah.
They always tell you the punch that knocks me out is never the one I see coming.
Yeah, the one
And it's
I don't
always
see.
And it's the one that's like, that's what dropped him? But it's because it's in between the exchange and you're not seeing it, and bam, it clips you.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing there, where he didn't expect to be shoved down. I think that was blown out of proportion.
I mean, well, look, even still, he's an older man and a big man.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You
Yeah.
could just like run up on him. You don't gotta, But as far as the Swift element, a lot of these women that are now new to the sport, new to just maybe even sports in general, men get feisty, like, especially in the heat of competition. That does not then turn and make that man into a woman beater, or now Taylor Swift is in danger. Like, none of those things could be further from the truth. Now, if it's the truth, that's sad truth, but I wouldn't say that him showcasing that he was impassioned over a big play, because listen, this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they were losing, and the momentum hadn't really been in their favor. They finally get a big play. Travis Kelce's upset because that is his spot in the formation, that, maybe this person would have been blocked up if I'm over there. You know what I mean? Like, he's the best player on their team outside of Mahomes.
Yeah.
So he wants to be in the game. I wasn't upset by any means by his response to that. It's like I said, it's sad that, any kind of impassioned plea in anything now is like, oh, you're this or you're that. And it's like, hey, bro, like, I want to win.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. I'm not trying to downgrade anybody. Just, I want to win. Let's do what, like, me being a competitor.
Throw me the damn ball.
Yeah, I want to be out there.
Or don't take me off the field. This is the biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
What are you saving me for?
Yeah.
That's what I think the anger was.
No
And
more,
then when you
nothing more to save me.
When you listen to the post game, they were both like lovey-dovey. They're like, yo, shit happens. Like, and that's the thing, to your point. People that have played a sport at any level, you get it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked about this so many times. My buddy Jerome, we played football on Sundays. He's quit on me on the field 300 times. Yo, fuck this dude. I can't play with him. And then he came to Vegas. He was at my crib for 5 days. Like, stayed at my crib.
Dudes were
It's
different.
like, bro, that's, yeah, but I get it. But like, even some friends that I have, and it's a very small group because almost all my friends like played sports. So there's that thing that we bond over. But I have a couple of friends that never played any level sport. And they're like, dude, how is Diggs yelling at Josh? I was like, bro, that shit happens all the time.
That's normal.
Yeah. Now let's not have it happen every week.
Yes.
Right? That's another thing.
Yes.
It's a crazy level of respect you have to have with your coach to do that. Because I think about there's a lot of players in this league where if that happens, I think Andy Reid
Benches them.
No, Andy Reid catches his balance, grabs him by the chest, and says, "Come here, you motherfucker. I'm gonna put you on the bench."
I don't think that's Andy's personality.
I don't think that's Andy's personality.
Bro, if
but
Kadarius Toney did some shit like that, he would have backhanded him.
No, he would have just told him. He would have just told him not to catch the flight.
Hey.
He wouldn't have made it to Vegas.
you know who I do think reacts that way? Dan Campbell, and that's your boy.
Oh, Dan,
Both
well,
of you.
hey,
That's your boy.
listen. How else are these players supposed to listen? You know what I mean? We gotta.
But yo, I don't think that was. I think that got blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
But I feel Travis Kelce on that, man. Like, if we're gonna go down, I want to be on the field and I want the ball in my hands. And I know I'm jumping forward a little bit, but that fourth down play in overtime, I was watching the game with Cam and the crew.
Mhm.
I was like, bro, there's no way. Because they lined up in shotgun and immediately, Josh, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
I was like, the game's over.
yeah, I was like, no, don't do that.
Like, bro, I was just like, hey, bro, like QB sneak. I'm
Yeah.
cool. I'm cool with the results.
yeah.
Like, at least give me that as the results.
Yeah.
And then, but when I saw Kelsey come in motion, I was like, it's gonna be some shenanigans in this play.
And it was the RPO, and Mahomes was just saying, yo, if we're going to go down, I'm not throwing it to MVS here. I'm not throwing it to anyone. I'm going to take that shit myself.
I actually thought, because sometimes they would have Kelsey come up and then be the quarterback and sneak it.
Ooh, yeah, that is a staple
when he
of theirs.
first moved, that was my thought, was like, okay, Kelsey's getting the ball and he's gonna sneak it for the one. But then when he doubled back, I was like, nope, something else. So that was the game. That was the game right there.
The play calling confidence to leave Nick Bosa unblocked in 3 of the biggest plays of the game, bro. And I've glazed the hell out of Spags, but it's like, damn,
The berries on this one.
Never. What, you're telling me he's going unblocked? You're crazy.
Butt naked.
Crazy.
No hat.
Oh.
we outside.
It was such a
raw
good
like
play
Monday
call.
night.
The first time that Mahomes did it, where they ran the read option, I think it was like coming back from the second half. They knew that play was going to be there. Like, Mahomes took off way quicker that first time that he ran it, and every time from that he was a little bit more patient with it, because you can tell he was like, this man Bosa is about to figure this out. But Nick Bosa was so dialed in on crashing down, and I don't know if that's a schematic thing or if that's just the type of player he is and he just missed a read. Because I do think Steve Wilkes messed up quite a bit. I think Steve Wilkes, the reason why I say that is he brought pressures at times where if you were to play a little more conservative of a defense, you're not giving up big plays.
Yeah, that
And
doesn't get behind you.
As soon as he started bringing pressure, that's where you saw Kelsey start to take over.
Yeah.
Now, the only pushback I'll say to that, though, is can we at least agree that defense played light years better than they played versus the Packers or the Lions?
Oh, this was the
Yes.
best performance
So-
they've had in a very long time.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I won't boo-hoo him by any means on that, because
Yeah.
I was expecting the Chiefs to be able to do what they wanted, and then the Niners were going to have to follow suit. That was my expectation for the game. So when the game came out and it was a slugfest, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. You know what I mean? So, like, the defense overall played well. I feel like just in the end, Andy Reid, that's what makes him Andy Reid. That's what Kyle Shanahan isn't. Kyle Shanahan, the second all that gadget nonsense stops working and Chris Jones is like, I'm going to be here in the middle when you get back. Like, the second that starts happening, he doesn't have a second punch, or he doesn't know how to just, okay, screw it. We're just going to keep doing this over and over again. He still has to be pretty. And that's always been my contention with Kyle Shanahan. He's always got to be too cute. Even when he was the Redskins coordinator, it had to be the perfect play.
Yeah. The half ends with Kansas City going on a 13-play drive, and then they kick a field goal. And with them getting the ball at halftime, I thought that was the first time that I was nervous about that game. I was like, damn, that's a huge win for the Niners to not give up a touchdown and have them kick a field goal, because the Chiefs are getting the ball at halftime. It's like when you play Madden, right? You love mentioning Madden every chance you get.
Hey, listen.
That's like your
Very
go-to.
true.
You got look. All
Double
right,
up.
he's gonna play me a Madden one time. He's like, this guy's pretty good at Madden.
Oh, dude, I'm terrible
Do
at
you play
Madden.
Players Lounge?
Hmm?
Either one of you guys?
No,
No.
I don't do all that.
Wait until the degeneracy gets into video games.
Yeah.
It's there.
I don't play Madden unless I play for money.
Oh,
Shout
dude,
out to
during-
Players Lounge.
During the pandemic, I gambled one night on Madden simulators because I was bored. I had like 20.
Whoa.
I had
During
like,
the pandemic.
I had like
you
yeah,
got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
in control.
I had like
tough to
$28
watch.
left on my DraftKings account, and I was just like, yo, you know what? Well, what can I bet on? It was Madden simulators. Yeah.
Wow, you bet on DraftKings on Madden?
Yeah. Like
Oh.
the professional Madden leagues. Yeah. You were able
Oh,
to bet.
okay.
So there's
okay.
two
I see
people
what you're
playing?
saying.
Yeah, it's two people.
It's
Oh,
not
okay.
just a simulated game
No.
because that's the way you made it sound.
Yeah, that's what I
No,
thought
like
too.
you would play. So like, yo, you know how they have like pro leagues?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. That's
Yeah,
right.
you would play if you two were pro fucking Madden players.
Yeah.
I'd pay, all right, I'm betting on George to beat Josh,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they'd set lines.
that's what you should do.
That was
That would win
already
you
a
money.
mistake, but it's okay.
Yeah, but
George and I are gonna handle this. That's
that,
fine.
that was, but the reason why I bring up Madden is because in Madden, what do you always do? You want the ball at halftime, right?
Oh yes.
Every single time. So if you're the Chiefs, you kick a field goal, and I backed the Chiefs. I bet on the Chiefs. I was like, damn, bro, I'm a little worried about this one because they could have captured the momentum completely if they score a touchdown there. So I
Yeah.
thought that was a big win for the Chiefs. And then we go into halftime. I'll be honest, didn't watch a second of the halftime show.
It's going on right now in that back room if you want to just peek your head
That's-
through it.
that's
Oh,
a-
damn, it actually is.
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
But here's the thing,
That's
though.
wild.
The only reason why is because the people I was with, we kind of went into the backyard and we were kind of just chilling and vibing outside. So it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I hate Usher. I'm not gonna. No, it was not that. I couldn't bet on the halftime show. The song "Caught Up" is my favorite Usher song, and some markets weren't even letting you bet on that one for the first song. Not saying that I was like gut or anything. I was like, I would probably bet on like my favorite song. See if it happens. What do you think about the
Maybe find
halftime
it.
show?
I like I said before we got on air, I thought it was definitely one of the better halftime shows.
But yo,
Uh,
I wanna granted, I haven't seen anything,
Yeah.
but I feel like we have these conversations every year.
Yeah.
It's the best one. It's the best one.
No.
My
no,
personal
no.
favorite was the one in LA with Dr. Dre, Snoop.
That was really
good.
good. That was
that
really
was all
good.
straight hip hop too, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
and then also you got to
50,
remember
Kendrick.
Yeah, you got to remember
That's
how
my
many
favorite
different people he touched, how many people he produced for.
Yeah.
So how much he could pull from. And the same thing, I mean, Usher had I was waiting for them to daggone pull R. Kelly from jail and have him on the screen.
They
I
would
was
not.
ready.
They
I was
would
like,
not.
bro, if this happens, I was like, nah, it's on CBS.
Even
CBS
though
ain't gonna let
Same
this go
Girl
down.
slaps, you was
It'd
not
be
having
crazy.
You was not having that song on there. Hell
Oh
no.
my God. I was
you
so
imagine?
ready for that.
That
It
was
goes-
the lock of locks. We like throwing the L word around. R.
Yes.
Kelly to not show up at the Super Bowl was a lock.
Can you imagine? You have a collect call from like over the Super Bowl. You have a collect call from. He goes,
Talk about going viral.
Bro, that would have been absolute. Like, I literally was like, they're going to find a way to get R. Kelly into this space for Same Girl.
wild.
Like, so I mean, look, I thought it was really good because it showcased him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, a lot of times, sometimes these artists aren't able to really showcase what they can do. Like, think back when Prince did it. Prince breaks out the guitar. He's showcasing he can play the drums. He was Prince. A lot of times the artists aren't actually able to really be themselves in that grand of a stage. And I felt like he really, I mean, my thing is like, he was like pouring in sweat 4 minutes in. I'm like, bro, what kind of cardio do you have that you're sweating this hard 5 minutes in? You wasn't dancing that hard.
well, that's the thing. I was like, the first 5 minutes of it are just him dancing, which I mean, like entertaining, like things we can't do. I need to know this because I still haven't figured it out. On Nickelodeon, when they're showing the Super Bowl, did they show the halftime show? Because if so, I believe that Usher just committed like child predator type stuff. You can't be seductively stripping your shirt off on the Nickelodeon broadcast.
I'm sure it was altered.
It was like
this is TVG.
it was
Yeah.
yeah. No. Or they could not play it. I mean, if it wasn't that, how about him and Alicia Keys practically dry humping for
You know what my favorite thing
for
about that
45
was? My
seconds.
favorite thing about that was he tapped into the internet. Because doesn't he get a lot of shit about like, yo, you can't let your girl go to a Usher concert,
Yes.
right? Like him and
Yes.
Chris Brown are like the two dudes you don't want
Yes.
your girl at one of those concerts
At all.
And he played into that with the hug.
I actually thought it was nice.
It was nice, but
It
I'm
wasn't
saying like
super
people are like,
ignorant.
yo, Swiss Beats gotta be sick, and Swiss Beats just like,
My girl just made a grip
yeah,
on here.
and she looked awesome.
She
Yeah.
looked
Great girl.
she looked
Great
top tier
girl.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah. Correct.
The
Correct.
big red, you know.
Yeah, I thought that
train.
I wanted that to stay. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The dress
But
is
yo,
cool.
I really do think that he played into meme culture and
Think
all
so.
that stuff. Yeah, I think so for sure,
The
bro.
song was my boo.
Dude,
you
even
gotta
if
hug
you're,
her.
yeah, even
Yeah,
if you're not, bro, even if you're not on the internet, right? Like I know a lot of athletes and celebrities that don't go to their social media, but they have people that handle it for them.
Sure.
And I know for a fact that they know about like the watch this, right? Like that
Oh,
meme.
yeah,
They
yeah,
know
yeah,
about
yeah.
all the shit that he does, and yo, you can't have your girl at an Usher concert. He knows about that stuff. So on that stage, he'll probably do a little role play. Even though you're right, though, you're 100% right that the song
Yeah.
"My Boo"
Yeah.
it justifies that's your boo.
It's my
You're gonna
boo.
hug.
We
You're
gotta
gonna have
we gotta,
a little bit of an exchange there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think it's a play on the internet.
See, I actually think Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson were more sexual than that.
I mean, we saw
Yeah.
Nip.
I didn't say
I
it
mean,
was the
even
most
before
sexual.
the nip.
Yeah.
Like
the nip.
before the nip, it was like, and this
Yeah.
is 15 years ago.
Can you imagine if that was on Nickelodeon? My God. Nick at
Deletion.
Night.
They would've
Nick
cut
at
the
Night,
feed. Cut the
maybe.
feed. Cut the feed.
fucking feed.
Cut the
down.
Maybe.
feed.
Man, I just had to Google though. Have Usher and Alicia Keys ever been together?
No,
No, they haven't.
No.
But I was just wondering if there was like a little I don't know,
No.
romantic type sizzle that may have reignited. They're making My Boo together one night in the studio, and
Get booed up, LMA. Go
what
ahead.
Swiss
Nick.
Bees don't know won't hurt them.
Oh my
You
god.
know, what Swiss
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, that show was, in my opinion, it was aight. Like it wasn't nothing that I was like, this is amazing. I felt like he tried to shove too many songs into an already short performance. People were saying they wanted Justin Bieber out there.
He played the hits, right? Which is usually what you do on a stage like that.
Yeah, but you,
Like I
you
went to a party over the weekend. 50 Cent performed. He played all the hits.
Which one?
All the hits.
Oh,
no, which
Area
one?
50
Where at Area 15?
No, I was
15?
at the Resorts World.
Oh, okay.
at
Oh,
the Maxim party.
you were at that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
If I Can't, Window Shopper,
Yeah.
Stunt 101, like his verse, like he played all the hits.
Yeah.
In the club, obviously, people went crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yo, by the way, I don't go out to clubs like often, right? Dreams and Nightmares is not a club song.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
What do you mean, what?
Boy,
It's
you
a
don't. You
45
listen,
second intro.
Listen.
That's what's wrong
No,
with
listen. You haven't been to Dre's. Like, look, listen. When the entire spot knows the words word for word, chills. It actually is a solid club song. Now, if only 20 of us know the words and
That's-
everyone else is sitting there like,
that
what
part.
song is this? Yes, 1,000%
He did the
agree.
white girl voice.
I
You
was
know
just
that?
saying. Just saying.
Oh my God, that's all right.
Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I get it. I get
That's
it.
so funny.
All I know is that at the party that I was at,
At the party you attended. Okay, wrong audience.
the air in that building deflated. But to me, it's like, yo, it's like a 90-second.
intro.
Yeah, it's like a monologue.
And it's hard, and I like it.
Oh,
but it's like
that
if we
song-
make it to that point, amazing.
That
like,
song
it
makes
doesn't
you want
matter.
to take off clothes and fucking throw down. That's what I want to do.
You gotta go to a black club and see it. If you go to a black club and see that song played,
Yeah.
you'll forever change your perspective. I was
No.
like, because I'll tell you, I had never really heard the song like that until I heard it at Dre's. And when I heard it, everyone else around me knew the song, and I was like, why am I so behind and I don't know this song? But like, I had to check myself. I'm getting old, and it's like, bro, I don't have to know all these songs no more. But like, when you see
when
it,
they know every word,
and everybody,
you're like, damn.
y'all thought I was in it. Like when everybody's
My
on it,
perspective has changed.
totally different in atmosphere. I'm gonna just let you know.
Bro, a club in Philly. Oh,
No, that would be a fight.
That would be a shootout.
Somebody's getting thrown to the ground.
Someone's getting stomped out. All right, so we leave halftime. We open up the second half. Chiefs get the ball, talking about what I was saying. And I'm thinking, all right, this is where the game is going to change. Well, interception.
Not
Right
even,
off the
but
bat.
what happened before the interception? Bad pitch.
Yeah.
It was 2 plays.
Yeah.
First play, bad pitch. Almost fumble, scoop, score.
I was like, Isaiah Pacheco, please fall down on the ground.
God. Oh.
And am I mistaken that there was also a low snap on that drive? There was low snaps throughout the entire game, but I think
Creed
the
didn't have a
play-
good game.
No, he
that
didn't.
that was one of the most uncharacteristic Patrick Mahomes interceptions I've ever seen in my life. Like it was definitely like, oh my God, it's over. That interception definitely gave me the feels of it's done.
I didn't feel it was done, but I definitely was like, yo, we down 7. If they go score here, some things are gonna have to go right. But the defense, defense holds them 3 and out. Right back to business.
Yeah. And that was the biggest play in that game for me going into the game was the Chiefs defense and being able to, because there was a lot of 3 and outs. It was the punters got to work, bro.
Oh yeah.
The punters were out there.
They got shine.
7 3 and outs.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. And for you to get a turnover and start inside Chiefs territory and then go 3 and out, and then Conley, I think Conley was like the special teamer of the game. Right? He gets the 1 punt revenge game because he used to play for the Chiefs. Gets the 1 punt at the 2-yard line, and then he has that fucking John Bradshaw Layfield clothesline on the 1 play where he fucking smokes that guy. WWE reference.
I got you.
You got me right. I think he was playing really well, and he also had a big catch on like a 3rd down too. Like
yes, he did.
random,
Yes, he did.
where
Yes, he
Brock
did.
Purdy kind of just teardropped it over the
Like,
defender.
seriously?
And
Who's
then
this?
the Butker hit a
Bomb.
57-yard field goal, which is a Super Bowl record that was previously set by Jake Moody the half before.
Like literally 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah. And I think where the game really changed though was the fumbled punt.
The muffed. Well, not even muffed.
Wasn't muffed. It just hit.
the deflection. Yeah.
Those are always crazy, man. When you see the guy running up, like when my team is getting the ball and I see my punt returner sprinting forward, or if he's like pointing at his teammates, I'm like, uh-oh. And it hits off the guy's ankle, and then he goes to recover it, doesn't, and then the Chiefs start inside the red zone pretty much.
1 play, MVS.
MVS, yeah. Held on to that one.
I mean, he was butt naked. He better.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that was coming, right? Like, I think every football fan knows shot play after a turnover, and especially if you're in like
the
dialing
20.
it. Yeah, you're like, this is going in the end zone, even if it's tight. And it was one of what you would say 6 excellent play calls by the Chiefs, where they knew that if they sent Travis Kelce on a wheel, and the way they would guard the switch release. And then you got Dre Greenlaw's backup, dude. It was the easiest. I thought the Kadarius Toney touchdowns in last Super Bowl were easy. That pass right there was pretty easy. He just caught it in rhythm. He knew it was there right away.
Touchdown.
Yep.
Wide
Open too.
Butt naked. I mean, he had 10 yards in every direction.
6 plays like that, I would say there were in the game where you're just like,
trouble,
outcoached.
Trouble.
Like you were. That's where I'm saying like Steve Wilkes. And I know it's a tough spot to get your defense back out on the field like that, but it's like, come on, bro.
Listen,
we haven't worked the switch release. Like,
they had just done it.
Yeah.
Kansas City had just trotted their defense out in a horrible spot.
Yeah.
To save the game. What did they do? Saved the game.
Bowed up.
You know what I'm saying? You were in a position where, okay, they're getting points. Unless we do something miraculous or unless they make a mistake. They're giving up points. But you have to at least minimize the damage. We can't just let them just come back out and slap us in the face. And then, because what was the score at that point? At that touchdown, was that their first lead? Or?
That made them 13-10 lead with 2:28 left in the third quarter. And then the ensuing drive, Brock and the Niners go down 12-play drive, score a touchdown to Juwan Jennings. He has the big play there. And the craziest thing, right? And this is why sports betting is so wild. The touchdown scores in the Super Bowl. Ready for this? McCaffrey, minus 250, expected. Jennings, 18-1, anytime touchdown.
Oh,
MVS, plus 800, anytime touchdown.
Damn.
And then Mecole Hardman, 14-1, anytime touchdown. Those are your touchdown scores in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
it's like missing out on buying Apple stock.
Well, but
Like, imagine a same game
bro.
parlay with those three guys.
Damn.
$10 probably wins you like 10 racks.
So much money, bro.
That's insane. I mean, look, well,
Crazy.
listen, we talk about it. Freaking Kelsey and then Pacheco and Debo Samuel, like all the hitters that did not score. Now did they make an impact on the game? Yes, but the ones that did not score, they were burning tickets left and right. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
They killed all of mine.
You know who had a crazy play that drive that was also a ticket killer? Remember the 4th and 3 on that drive before Juwan Jennings scored, where you thought, oh, the 49ers are going to kick the field goal here. They're not going to go for it.
Oh,
and they end up going for it, throwing it to Kittle on an out route.
Yeah.
And you're like, I almost felt like a little bit of like, damn, he learned something from Dan Campbell on that 4th and 3. Because in that type of spot, you're like, let's tie it up. You know, let's not have a huge momentum shift, because if that happens and you don't get it, like, I don't know, it's not looking too good for you. The Chiefs just got the lead and they stopped you on 4th down.
Yeah.
So that was a big time play call, and that was pretty much it for George Kittle. Like,
Yeah, that was literally it.
Truthfully, and
he had
and
2
think about
receptions.
it,
The other
and,
one,
and that
like a
that catch
screen.
was even still close. Like even though they picked it up,
Yeah.
Justin
It
Reed was right there.
it was
Like it
like
wasn't.
on-
yeah, he
on
was
the
on the
marker.
number.
Well, the other crazy thing, dude, was that touchdown Juwan Jennings scores, they get the PAT blocked.
oh, I love it.
And I feel like that's not mentioned enough, because
I
then
was calling it too.
that gets blocked. And then Moody had a rough playoffs and he had a rough season, because a lot of his kicks, like the further you go back, the more it's a line drive, right?
Yeah.
The closer you are, the more it's a pop-up. A lot of it is because of the line of scrimmage and the guys jumping up, right? But for a PAT, you should never hit a ball that low. And
Yeah.
again, stud D3 kicker over here.
Yep.
You got to be able, it's pop-ups.
Yeah.
Like, those are chip shots. You should never go to smoke it like that. Oh, when it's a 50-yarder, that's where blocks really do happen, because it's more of it's coming up like that as opposed to coming up that way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why? Okay, and is that mostly because of distance? You're
Yeah,
trying.
'cause
You
of
have
distance.
to. You're
You're
trying
trying to
to
get
push the
more-
ball there.
right, you're trying to get more behind it as opposed to
Madden
just like,
philosophy, understood. I got you.
Yeah,
I just-
exactly. With the arrow, just like with the arrow, it's literally that too. Yeah. So it makes sense, and that was a big part of it, because now if you're the Chiefs, are like, all right, all we need to do is get a field goal now to go and tie it, and then that's what ends up happening. They go down and they get a field goal with 5:49 left. Does Mahomes and the Chiefs? He gets sacked on a 3rd down. And then they kick the field goal. So it's 16-16. And then how'd you guys feel when the Niners kicked the field goal to go 19-16? There was a great defensive play there, right? Like, there was a defensive play there made.
It was, I
who
don't
was
think
it?
it was McDuff. I think it was Snead.
Oh no!
Snead
You're
came on a corner
yes,
blitz.
Yes.
And it was that's just a Spagnola, like, hey,
Yes.
fingers crossed. He had the perfect blitz dialed up, and it was either Snead or McDuffie that got the batted down ball.
It was a corner blitz, but
McDuffie.
it was also a corner blitz from the slot. He wasn't blitzing from the sideline. He was blitzing
Yeah.
from the middle.
When you watch it, it's so crazy the way these corners are literally like here, and then just the reaction time to snap and blitz it blows my mind. It really does. They're such an I was telling Cameron yesterday,
It was McDuffie. I just looked it up.
there was
No,
so
McDuffie
many.
broke up the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was so many big time plays from those Kansas City Chiefs corners last night that I was like, man, like you don't see corners play this sound for an entire game. Usually there's a hiccup here and there, but man,
They
Well,
didn't
there was
give
about
up-
to be a hiccup there was about to be a hiccup, and we'll get to
Correct.
one that would have been devastating for them. But Kansas City, then they go down and they kick the field goal. They tie it to send it into overtime. Second ever Super Bowl to go into overtime. Fun fact, both featured Kyle Shanahan
Yep.
when he was the
Atlanta.
offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Shanahan now has blown 3 Super Bowls in which he has had double-digit leads in the second half.
10 points or more.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And I think 2 of them were in the fourth quarter also.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, we're going to get to him when we close out the show. So they go into overtime, right? Now let's address the elephant in the room. What should you do when you get to overtime? Let me ask you guys.
Defense. You take defense because you know you're going to get the ball back. And it's like college rules. You want to be able to know what you have to do in order to win the game. And the 49ers, I think, did not practice the new overtime rules at all. Every player on the 49ers team will come out and admit it at some point in time in this offseason. We did not prepare well enough for the new rules.
Oh, you don't even need to wait for the offseason. They've been already saying it, that they didn't know the
No,
rules.
I knew it. I know
Nobody
it's coming
was 10
out.
toes down in that
I know
locker
it's
room.
coming out, but I'm just saying it's gonna get progressively worse. Like where it's like, damn, how do we really not know this? And I mean, a lot of America didn't know. Like, I didn't know, bro. Until they announced it, I was like,
No.
What's happening?
Well, and we talked about it before. I really felt like Jim Nantz and Tony Romo did a great job of explaining, because at the end of the overtime, when the Chiefs were just walking down, I was like, all right, that's cool, but we're getting kind of close on time, and we're trying to score a touchdown here. Like, let's figure it out. But I do have some pushback a little bit. I feel like, honestly, either way, if you receive the ball or if you kick the ball, in that scenario, the other team's gonna get the ball. So if we go and if they would have went and scored a touchdown, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because it would have forced the Chiefs to go match it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you don't go down and make a mistake, that's the only thing that matters, truthfully, and that's not something you can really plan for. If you go on defense first and they go and score a touchdown on you, now all the weight of the world is in everybody, your fan base, all the pundits, everybody's the weight of that moment to go have to score a touchdown. That's just as hard, I feel like. So it's very easy to, Monday morning quarterback it and say, oh, they should have kicked. But like, if the Chiefs would have went and scored a touchdown first, the Niners hadn't been, marching the ball down the field. So it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I also think to push back on your pushback,
okay.
I think at least you know that you have to go 4 downs the rest of the way, which was what Kansas City did. And if you look at the way they were playing that whole overtime, bro, everything was dump, drag route, nice block by Travis Kelce to spring Rashid Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes keeping it. Pacheco for 3 yards. Okay, we'll take 3 yards here. It's fine. Fourth down. It's cool. We know that we have 4 opportunities to pick up a first down. Or if it's the other way around, you don't. When you
You're still
down. It's
still
4th down. I'm going to
protecting
take
it.
the points here.
Yeah, still protecting yourself.
What's crazy is the overtime rule got changed because of the Chiefs and Bills. And I think that it's the best way to have overtime. You allow the team to get a rebuttal. And to your point, what you said before, and I didn't know this last night, because I'm watching the game with Cam and we're yelling at the TV like, yo, bro, there's 30 seconds. Why are you chilling?
Like they're just walking up to the
They're
line.
just chilling.
Like he's like, Mahomes does his little thing where he's like,
but here's the thing. Because it's your first possession,
yeah.
there's basically no clock.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to my buddy Frank, we were DMing today. He's like, yo, why don't they just not have a clock for the first 2 possessions?
yeah.
Yes.
That
True.
would be a lot more.
It
You
would-
just
it
have
would
a
be-
play clock.
Yeah, it would be a lot less anxiety, because that was my whole thing.
And
I
also
was
for the
freaking out.
viewer too, because bro, I watch football all the time, and for years I didn't know that was. I was like, yo, what the hell? And like Mahomes is just chilling, Andy Reid is chilling.
Nobody's
And then
like super excited.
I'm watching Game Pass this morning, and the post game, one of the reporters or analysts asked Mahomes about that. He's like, oh yeah, we were chilling because we knew the overtime rules. It's our first possession. We could have theoretically went into the second overtime and the third overtime, as long as it's still your first possession. And dude, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And then it makes more sense. And then when you're watching that overtime, if you guys go back and watch it now, and I feel like you guys should, as football fans. It'd be dope to just watch the Chiefs overtime drive, knowing what you know now, that they have the ability to, it's cerebral assassin type shit.
Okay.
It's like lo-fi hip hop beats. You just it's steady.
Bro,
you know?
Chilling. Like, because dude, he just knew that we're gonna go 4 downs the rest of the way. So we have 4 plays to get 3 yards each play to get first downs.
Yeah.
No stress, no problems. I'm telling you, bro, and you guys watching, go and watch just the overtime. Watch it on YouTube. It's available. Just watch the overtime. You're going to be like, oh, man, that's some cerebral shit. And that's exactly what it was, dude.
Yeah.
And
exactly what it was.
Watch the very last play where you see half the 49ers defense fall asleep.
Oh, well, they ran the same play that they did with
last year.
Kadarius Toney.
Boy, I'm trying to tell you, they didn't fall asleep.
They fell asleep.
It was beautifully designed, and it literally exposed. It didn't even really expose. It just, like you said before, when we're switching off, I forget who it was in the far right side of the field, but he switched off when he started the motion. He gave a hand gesture to let his next defender know, hey, he's coming to you. That's going to be your guy. And then they hike the ball and he doubles back and there's no one there. And you got Travis Kelce out there running a pick, wide open end zone. It was a beautifully designed play. I won't say that, like, I won't put it on the Niners as if they fell asleep. It sucks. Now, what we talked about with Fox earlier on the show, why didn't the Niners call a timeout there to make sure everyone's on the same page? Because we have all the timeouts, and as you were saying before, the time really doesn't matter. So let's call a timeout and make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I think Kyle Shanahan was asleep, honestly. As a head coach, I feel like he was lost, and he lost sense of himself and his unit. And it's a very tough thing as a coach to like be able to decide, like, I mean, is this the right time, like right now? And we've seen this like every year there's a big time coaching mishap.
Yeah.
And I think him not calling a timeout or even taking defense first is going to be really talked about.
I'll tell you this, as a coach,
that's going to be that's career defining, right?
As a coach, it's always better for me. I've always found it's always better to call the timeout early than it is late.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather stop you before the mistake happens and let's get it recalibrated now versus trying to put Band-Aids on bullet holes later.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to fix what could have been versus I stopped it saying, hey, this is what they're about to do. Let's draw it up. Let's get everybody, take a breath. Everybody lock in, look at the person next to you. This is when you actually can give a motivational moment because that's your job. But when you just sit there on the sideline, bro, yeah, things happen.
I love what you said about it's becoming a thing because I think the saying is once is an accident, twice it's a trend, 3 times it's a problem. This is the 3rd time that he has crazy coaching decision mishaps in the game.
Yep.
And that's an issue, man. If this was the first time that it happened to Kyle Shanahan, I think everybody collectively feels different. But the fact that it happened again, the biggest stage,
bro,
and you had a lead
again,
and you were the favorite, you were the team that was expected to win. I think that's a rough look, man. And he's gonna get crucified the whole offseason for this.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be torn apart. And, you know, I don't think it's a fireable offense because he's been so successful. Like, dude's been in the NFC title game. I think it's like
three or four times.
All but twice as a Niners coach. Like the first time he was there and then like that weird pandemic year where they weren't. But like everything else is conference finals against the Eagles, conference finals against the Rams, conference finals against who else was it? When they went to the Super Bowl in 2019. Packers. Yeah, like they're there. They're successful, you know? So what do? Do you think it's I think it's crazy to move on from him, but these are going to be conversations people are going to have. Or it'll be like, yo, we're going into this one more year because of Brock Purdy's contract. I would bet money that they have a better chance to make the Super Bowl next year than the Chiefs do. The conference is way shittier.
1,000%.
Like way shittier. Like you look
Not
at
a question.
Bro, you look at the AFC, fucking loaded, right? We're gonna get Joey B back. We got Harbaugh now with Herbert. Everywhere Harbaugh goes, first year, 12 games they win. Right? You have
That's in Division 2 for
in
the
division
Chiefs.
for the Chiefs. You have you got Josh Allen in the Bills. You have Tua. Like, hey, if Miami's the 1 seed, you feel different about Miami going into the playoffs. Right?
Good, yeah.
Who knows what happens with Rodgers and the Achilles and the Jets?
Yep.
You're looking at the 2024 way too early fucking playoff odds and Super Bowl odds. The 49ers are the favorite.
Yep.
And I feel like that's right.
In that conference, in the NFC, 1,000% is right. Because, look, listen, the Eagles still have questions.
Mhm.
The Cowboys are always going to be the Cowboys. Okay, after that.
Green Bay Packers will be your surprise team, and then the Lions.
But see, I don't even know if they would be a surprise.
Nah, they're not a surprise.
They're not a surprise anymore. This year was a surprise.
They're unassuming the people that they have.
They're not the Aaron
It's like
Rodgers
the Chiefs
Packers.
defense.
Yeah, they're not the Aaron Rodgers Packers.
They're getting to that caliber, but
Yeah.
like well known and recognized. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's 100% correct. But I'm so glad you brought up the Kyle Shanahan thing real quick before we go to those odds, because Chris Sims, when I was engineering his show this morning, was talking about his relationship that he has with Kyle Shanahan, and he's like, bro, he's fucking cursed. Like, he like said that to me, and I don't know, it felt like he had multiple conversations with him about like everything's been perfect. Like I don't know what else like I can do. And I just think some people, you know, if you believe in curses or whatever,
Jinxes.
like yeah, like some people are just naturally unlucky. And he had even mentioned, I think Kyle Shanahan might want it more than the 49ers want to get rid of him. Because Kyle Shanahan's like, what more can I do here? I can't win a title. I want a new, fresh.
Kyle Shanahan might want out more than the Niners want to get him out.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Wow.
Just because, dude, it's like at a certain point in time, you've built a culture, a Super Bowl culture, and maybe not a Super Bowl winning culture, never, but you've built this culture. Go do it again with like a blank slate. Maybe things behind the scene aren't as all buttoned up as we think they are, you know, and dealing with all those superstars is actually a lot more of a head case than
Phil Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, look, listen,
what it seems.
Look, there's plenty of instances where you can see one coach not being able to do it and another coach walking in and it's like, oh, this was easy. Some people make it look easy. It's not easy managing divas in like you said, a big room.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a small room and it's, you know, everybody's pulling on the same rope, that's easy. But when it's, you know, you got people pulling this side of the team, similar to the Andy Reid with the Eagles, with Donovan McNabb breaking the team over here, and then
Terrell Owens
breaking the
Terrell Owens alone. You don't need more player than T.O.
Terrell Owens breaking the team over here. Yeah, I mean, I don't see him leaving, but that's interesting to hear you say it. That's wow. That's a lot. That's a lot there.
An embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, that's a lot there.
Yeah, at some point you gotta wonder what's your excuse, and then I feel like it gets forgotten because they've been successful. Like, bro, they mortgaged a lot to get Trey Lance, and that didn't work out, and that was a Kyle Shanahan thing. So maybe there is a rift we don't know about between Shanahan and John Lynch in the front office. But my thinking is, bro, it's hard for you to have sustained excellence like they've had. And dude, I used to be a huge hockey fan. Now I kind of like in and out. I'll watch the Rangers, and then I like playoff hockey. The reason why I say this is because the Rangers from like 2011 to 2017, I think they played the most Stanley Cup playoff games of any team. What's the smirk?
My team got it done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, but the Capitals and the Rangers.
Y'all went through us a couple times.
Right. The Capitals and the Rangers used to go at it. But
Yes,
what I'm
we
saying
did.
is eventually, like, it's hard to have that kind of sustained excellence for that long and be so consistent. And then what happens, at least what I think happens, is as a coach, you kind of overstay your welcome. And maybe it gets to a point where it's not that he's a bad coach, because it's hard for you to be that good. It's hard for you to be that good.
Yeah.
But what do you do from there? Is that your ceiling? It's the same issue that I think Dallas has with McCarthy. How can you fire him? He's won 12 games a year, bro.
Like, that's not
fireable. He
fireable.
gives you, it's not a fireable offense.
Yeah.
But you are on a hot seat.
That's so,
And
that's
I
so
think
wild.
that could be the case for Shanahan. I don't think you fire him. I don't.
No, I don't think it's a
Yeah.
firing either. I think they would do a lot better of a job in the press than to expose him like that. That's like
Yeah.
if things go nuclear. But I just think it could be amicable that like now's the time. It makes you think though about like everything in sports is all revolved around the organization, and all those relationships matter, bro. And when you're looking at the 49ers, like I think they got to let him go. And it's similar to the New England is what I was trying to get at with it there. It's like they've been successful, but well, at least with New England, it was like bad year. We're pulling the ripcord right now early, because it would have been very tough to do, if he was winning 10 games, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Certain organizations are winning organizations, and the moves that they make, everyone needs to pay attention to and not just scoff over that. Out of all the coaching vacancies, like New England is the first to hire their next new coach. It's like some teams are ready for the plan. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll know within the month if there's going to be any moves.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
But
you have
it
to.
should not be a surprise to people if it happens.
You have to, because we're 5 minutes from draft recaps. Well, not draft recaps, but getting ready for the combine.
True.
Free agency's about to start. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to end the show with this. And for those wondering why we haven't talked about Pat Mahomes, why we haven't talked about Travis Kelce, it was because we're saving best for last. And also because back in 2019, I said Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. He just won his first Super Bowl. And the year later, he goes to the Super Bowl again. And since then, this is all before he turned the age of 30. These are his playoff stats, Josh. He's played, and now in comparison to Tom Brady at 30.
I've got okay. We're going age.
Yeah, well, you have to break it down where they are in their career.
Okay, all right.
All right. Mahomes is 28, so he
Yes.
still has 2 more years to get to where Brady was at 30.
Mm-hmm.
He's played 18 games.
15-3.
He has 5,135 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 8 interceptions,
Yep.
3-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, has been to 4 Super Bowls, has made the AFC title game in all 6 years. That's Mahomes. Brady on the other end. And look, I get it. It's a different game. The style of play was different. That's why his passing yards are 3,217. He played 14 games, had 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch. Shout out to Deion Branch. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time already.
I'm with you.
And
I've jumped aboard. I've jumped
Both of
aboard
you.
the train.
Both of you.
All right, officially.
I look, and I wore my Doug Williams jersey on purpose today because, as I said before, this is championship days, so I had to rock a Redskin with a championship jersey. So shout out to Doug Williams, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. But Patrick Mahomes is now the greatest black quarterback of all time. That's point blank, period. Move forward. But we still have to keep things in perspective. I know that now the stats that you just mentioned, those are great. You got to also remember Brady had won back-to-back at 26, 25 titles. Now, was he the lead architect of
Mahomes
those?
just did that.
No, I know. And
Yeah.
he the first since Tom Brady did it in
Right.
2005. When you look at obviously the end of the road, you know what I mean? We're because now Brady's done. Brady has 7, won 6 with New England. When you look at the end of the road, it's different. But you can't jump so many people. I feel like this is what happens with a lot of LeBron fans. Like, you want to jump people. And he just now entered the conversation, like I said last week, with Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, and Tom Brady. He just now entered that conversation with those guys. I can't jump him past.
According to who?
Well, no, I'm saying in terms of Super Bowl wins. Because obviously, I know that and you said this last week, in terms of once you get to 2, obviously you have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
I still feel to say that you're the GOAT, you can't jump so many people, and the GOAT's all the way up here with 7. Now we can say he's the GOAT at this point in his career. His trajectory is still to get to that point, but it's not there yet. He's still got to do it. You still got to do it on the field. He's 50,000 yards behind in terms of total passing. Like there's still certain benchmarks that we can't just skip the line and say he's the best. I love him, but I'm not prepared to do that.
Yeah. Out of all the quarterbacks that you named, though, in that amount of Super Bowls that they've won, that group, it's just Tom and him.
Joe Montana.
I mean, bro,
Joe Montana was undefeated in the Super Bowl. He was 4-0 and had drives just like what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
I know you guys are too young to remember, but like Joe Montana was Jesus Christ. He was Jesus Christ. It's different. You know what I'm saying? So we can't
definitely
just,
not Terry Bradshaw.
We
can eliminate that one. Right?
Terry. Well, but listen, Terry still had to throw that thing to Lynn Swann. He still had to throw it. He had to throw it to those guys.
I'm eliminating everybody off that list, bro.
That's unfortunate.
He lost arguably the best wide receiver, and
his best wide receiver, not the best.
I mean, he's in the convo. You're looking at me like it was a crazy take. Tyreek Hill.
The best wide receiver ever?
No, dude. I'm talking about he lost arguably the best wide receiver of the last 2 years in the league. It's like him, Adams, and Jefferson.
Okay, you mean at the league in the time. Sure. I thought you were saying just all time. That's all I was like, whoa.
And all we did all year was shit on his weapons, and he went out there and won back-to-back Super Bowls.
With a worse team than last year, and last year wasn't great either.
And I said this last year. I was like, yo, if this upsets you, because a lot of people now are like, yo, we're villains now. Like Travis Kelce said it in the media day, like, oh, y'all are booing? Cool, bet, no problem. Mahomes said, like, we're never underdogs. And I think that's going to change now, too. Like, you're probably never going to see him in 3 straight games be an underdog. So if you capitalize on that, congratulations.
Bro, it was a mistake.
As long as they don't have any superstar receivers and that defense just stays the way it is, I don't know.
And here's the thing, right?
They may be.
Because Travis Kelce, he'll be 35 next year. And like, how many more years does he have left? I also view it as, hey, man, we don't know if Rashid Rice, who had a better rookie season than Tyreek Hill did, we don't know if this guy is the second coming of
anybody
good where you're like, yo, bro, I took him first in fantasy.
Kind of got a Randy Moss look.
Like, we don't know what he's going to turn out to be. And I guarantee you they're going to address the wide receiver position in the offseason.
What happened to Sky Moore? I didn't see him at all.
It just didn't pay. He got hurt, and then it just didn't pan out.
He got hurt this year. Okay, yeah. I didn't know.
But then, how do you build a dynasty and how do you build a great team like this? All their guys last year that were rookies that all contributed to the Super Bowl run, guess what? They're in year 2 now. They contributed to another one. And now you have your Rashid Rice, who's a rookie. Now he's a Super Bowl winning champion. Now you go into next year and you're like, yo, bro, I'm that fucking dude. I'm not just a random. So now you're elevated. And a lot of that, hell, all of that is because of number 15. And that's why I think already, like, I don't need to see more. Like, if he retired today, if he's just like, yo, bro,
yeah,
I own a Formula One. I have stock in Formula One. I own a fucking soccer team. I own Match. He owns like the Royals.
He owns a piece of the Royals.
He's doing good, right?
The Kansas City I forget the MLS team, but continue.
The like Sporting KC, right?
Sporting KC, that's
like,
right.
If he just says, yo, I'm done. Yeah, I think the 6 years that he's had, bro, because it's not like Brady's first 6 years where he had the defense and the Belichick, and a lot of it was, again, different game. Totally agree with you there, right? But, bro, Brady just retired. Mahomes has 16 years to catch him.
And that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
If
16.
you're into the rings, I'm not into the rings.
You got to be a little into the rings because you can't jump the line. You just can't. I can't put you ahead of Goliath and you're below him.
So you don't think he's number 2 then?
I mean, he's definitely right there. Yeah, he's definitely there. Because look, think of it this way. If Joe Montana, even after Brady had passed him in yardage and all that stuff, it wasn't until Brady got to his 6th ring, I'd say, 5th ring, where it was like, all right, it's not really a conversation anymore. Because remember, Brady had lost to you guys twice.
So those
kind of things.
So Montana, the conversation for Brady didn't really get cemented until after he got to like 5, right?
Well, until he separated, till it was like you can't deny it. That was like, because trust me, plenty of people were still like, oh, it's Montana.
So why are we denying Mahomes even though he's not up there?
That's what I'm saying, because like he he actually went through the separation. Brady actually had to win more than Joe Montana and get more yardage and do more stuff to be considered what he is what I'm saying. So I'm not going to then now change the rules of engagement and say that Mahomes has caught Brady and he hasn't even caught Montana in rings, yardage, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do that. It's just not, again, I'm older than y'all. I understand. It is what it is. I'll be the old dude in the room. It is what it is.
Yeah, you
Can
definitely are.
make a good take that would like really throw a loop into this whole little system here?
Sure.
What if Aaron Rodgers this next year defeats Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game and goes on to win a Super Bowl?
That's fine. Burrow beat him in an AFC title game, and so did Brady. Like it's
No, but
I'm
I'm
not saying
saying
that
I'm
he's gonna
saying
win
I'm saying
every
Rodgers
year.
in particular. Like I'm saying this could be a significant hit to his resume if in a game he loses to Aaron Rodgers.
Why Rodgers in particular?
Because Rodgers has got the title, multiple MVPs. He's the last of that generation that's tied with Brady that it can give like that, oh, there's a chink in the armor type situation where, Brady did get his 2 dubs over him. What if Rodgers adds to this list now, goes on and wins the Super Bowl title after defeating Patrick Mahomes? That's the only quarterback in the league right now that could really shake things up in this whole conversation, because I'm in full agreement with you. And I know there's like a huge gap between the stats that Brady has, but it's like Patrick Mahomes, he's going to get there. Modern medicine has only gotten better. He's going to get another 7 years out of Andy Reid. And here's the thing, and this is a bold prediction, when he comes and plays for the Saints in 2032 and wins the Saints a title, undeniable at that moment in time.
But like, look,
2032 Super Bowl champions, Patrick Mahomes and the Saints.
I'll say this, whether he gets there or doesn't, he still has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to just bequeath him that, it's just going to happen, because he still has to do it for me. Trust me, I want him to do it, but he still got to do it. I can't just give it to him because we didn't give it to Brady. Brady took it. Like literally took it. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, he didn't because remember, Joe Montana was his idol. So he didn't even really want to take it.
And look, before and I hear what you're saying, and before, because we got to wrap up too, we're pressed up on time. I will say that Brady went 10 years in between winning Super Bowls too.
Yes.
So between 3 and 4, it was 10 years. Now, did he go to a couple Super Bowls? Yeah, he went to 2 of them. Lost to the Giants. Right. I also think that Mahomes is playing in a way better era quarterback play than what Brady did. There are way more elite quarterbacks now than there were with Brady. Brady had to go through Big Ben and Peyton in the AFC. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, but bro, you're talking about all right. So
Now-
who are you going
now-
to add to the list for Mahomes?
Mahomes, he has
Josh
Burrow.
Allen, who's going to guarantee throw a turnover. He's got Joe Burrow.
Right,
who,
but there's
Burrow
more-
is his only young kryptonite.
Yeah, but he has Burrow. You have Allen. Say what you want about Lamar. He's the youngest 2-time NFL MVP
In
ever.
history, yeah.
Right?
CJ Stroud now, potentially.
We don't know what CJ Stroud's going to be. Look, I've given him a lot of shit. I've called him Jay Cutler 2.0, but now he has
Justin Herbert,
he
potentially.
has Harbaugh. Yeah, like the AFC is way more stacked. And even though they've won their division all these years, it's like this division is way better than what Brady had.
No question. Not a question.
Agreed.
Brady had a layup 6 games a season for 12 years.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Brady's fucking incredible. He's the most accomplished quarterback ever, right? Because he has a 7. And they showed a graphic because Andy Reid and Mahomes are like closing in. Not closing in. They still got like 20 wins to go to catch Belichick and Brady. And I think that number is not even where it should be because, bro, they had 14 bye weeks. That's basically a win because you're not playing wild card weekend.
True.
So if you factor that, it's not 44 career playoff wins. It's really 58. Because if you get a bye week, that's basically you've already advanced. That's a win. At least for me, that's how I view it. You got to win.
Yeah.
You've made it past that. You don't need to play that week. That's a win. You're on to the next round. So I think Brady, though, the competition. And look, we have 2 Hall of Famers in Big Ben and in Peyton Manning.
Phillip Rivers too. Forgot about him.
Yeah, I was a Phillip Rivers guy. I'll give you that. Yeah,
Phillip Rivers and the Chargers were a problem.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco.
A little bit. I mean, Super Bowl title. Can't take it away. He won one in between Brady and them.
The Ravens were the only team that put fear in Patriots fans' hearts.
1,000%.
We don't want to play them. It's gonna either someone's gonna get hurt when we leave that game. Like we'll lose Gronk.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Like someone's gonna get fucked up leaving that game. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like Mahomes. I've seen enough, right? Like it's one of those things where why do you need the career to end? I think the trajectory, like you said, and what he's accomplished at this point and where he's headed and how the game is changing. And these are the worst Chiefs teams, right? That's what we've been saying the last 2 years. And he won 2 Super Bowls with them. So his teams are only going to get better.
We'd hope.
Hope.
Lord Jesus.
The Saints are going to have so much cap space in 2032. We're going to be able to pay him $100 billion.
George is getting drunk.
No, I mean, that's just.
He's not leaving Kansas City.
I love these conversations. When I was pointing at you, I was like, oh my God, you're doing it. You're adding fuel to the fire. I was like, this is why he's going to be the greatest of all time. I was like, you're currently adding gasoline.
No, I want, like I said,
engine of Patrick Mahomes' greatness.
I want him to get there. I never said that I don't want him to get there or don't wish for him to. I just don't want us to, because look, I already, you know how I feel about Jordan and LeBron. So I'm already that way over here. So I can't then switch up and be like, oh yeah, it's Mahomes. Like when I'm just over here telling everybody as a LeBron lover, like, nigga, he got to catch Jordan. Like he has to catch him. You can't just give it to him. He has to physically get there. And if he hasn't gotten there yet, I can't give it to him. It's just how, I don't know.
You're so good at it, dude. You're just doing it again. You're giving LeBron the motivation right now. He's like, oh my God, that Josh Williams dude.
Poking the bear.
I'm so going to win an NBA title now.
Poking the bear.
If he needs me, he got bigger problems than that.
Yeah. Shit. Let's wrap, yo.
Yes, sir.
Let's wrap. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys rock with me this football season.
Beginning and the end.
I appreciate you.
Busy football season, very successful football season. The numbers have been through the roof, and the trajectory for the show is like Pat Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, got a lot of fun stuff planned for the offseason. Debating on whether or not to record this week, another episode, because we gave you guys 4 last week. I'm trying to hit the eight shows a month, so we're already projected to pass that. So yeah, TBD on that. But for all things Veterans Minimum, it's at Veterans Minimum. At Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. We don't have the helmet. It's out in the back, but the Patreon giveaway, the Super Bowl 58 helmet, we'll do a live drawing on the show sometime in March for anyone in the Patreon. You got to be in the $10 tier or higher. It's patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. And yeah, thank you all for sharing, listening, subscribe, rate, review. Tell a friend, tell your girlfriend, tell your grandma, degening. You never know, bro. My grandma's degening now, too. She used to hate it, but now she loves it. That's usually how it goes. George, where can they find you?
They can find me in the Wynn Casino today as I walk to my car. That's where I'll be in a little bit. At Mr. George Carmona, though, if you want to stalk my socials. And that's it. Lots of big things planned for the offseason, including taking a little bit of time on all these other podcast projects that I got working on. So now that football season has come to a close, I can kind of like reset. Josh, where can we find you in like 30 seconds?
Easy. The American Fan 365. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. We've got some interviews coming up. We just had our big interview with Randall Cunningham talking about the Super Bowl week and black quarterbacks. But yeah, the American Fan 365. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're out here.
I timed it. That was 27 seconds.
I do what I can.
We'll see you guys next time.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.